Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Nose Rides and Nosedives, the completion of my 10.8 step deck. It's here, finally! And I'm also going to give you a review of how it surfs. Wow! But a lot has happened since last time. So just give me a minute to wake up first. If you haven't done so already, grab yourself one of these and join me on this episode. I'll give that a minute to do its thing and do some stretching, morning stretching. Oh, no pain, no gain. Ooh, that's starting to look good. Yes. Delish. Oh yeah, what do you think of the new t-shirt? Huey Surfboards. Yeah. Alright, let's get to it, guys. First off, we have to drill a hole through the deck of the board and in through the fin box so that I can attach the leash string. And you know what I've done here? I actually didn't film it, but I've glued the hole. You glue it with the epoxy, with the polyurethane that I've used, and then I have to drill another hole through that, a smaller hole, and then push the leash string through. It's kind of a complex little thing, but it's an old school way of doing it. And I like the board looking old school, so, you know, it looks great like that. If you can see here, look closely, you can see there's some sparkles I put in the resin, in the actual tint of the resin. And that, I've never seen that before, sort of a 70s style, I think, anyways. It looks kind of cool. So I'm really pleased with the board, and it's turning out great, but we're not quite there yet. I splurged. I went a little over budget, and I bought an actual polishing machine. And now you can see I'm polishing up the board here on the deck on the bottom, and it just looks beautiful. It's giving that showroom finish. So now the board is complete. Ooh, it looks so shiny and pretty. Now there's only one thing left to do. It's winter here in Denmark, so we have to get into our winter wetsuit. And statistically, it says that we're actually much more chance of being injured getting into the wetsuit than it is surfing in Denmark. With a 6.5 millimeter wetsuit and 8 millimeter boots, man, it's nice and toasty in there. But you know what? You need it because the North Sea is harsh and it can be cold. Yes! Again, I can successfully say I have entered into my wetsuit injury-free. It's going to be a great day. Okay, so here's the first session on the board. And as you can see, I just needed to get into the water. There was no waves, just a tiny little shore break. And the board just glides really well. It's a heavy board. And I really got to get used to it because it's a lot heavier than my previous boards, which were also heavy. This one here, it just feels like a ferry. But, you know, it glides really well. Even though there's no wall on this wave, it just seems to keep going. And so that was a kind of a cool experience. The second day I was out in storm surf, and it did not perform well. It was too heavy. It was just not agile enough. And the waves itself were not great. But I mean, you know, that's just how it is. So now I'm out on my third session on the board, and the waves are a little bit better. There's not a lot of energy in the waves, but, you know, they were easier to catch and a little bit more compatible to this heavy log. So I managed to catch a few fun rides, which helped me become a little bit more familiar with it and to give it a an honest test and see what I can do. Although some of the features with this board, having the really big tail rocker and of course the concave on the step deck there, I never really had an opportunity to test those things. I think that'll come with becoming more familiar with the board itself. Some of the things I noticed about it is how much more heavy it is, as I mentioned, and being such a heavy board, it has its advantages. It can be really stable, and when there's a little bit more chop on the wave, it seems really stable, and it just kind of rides through the chop really easy. And there's a lot of glide on it. As I mentioned before, it just seems to keep on going on a small wave. There can be a lot of momentum moving forward, so it just keeps going, which is cool. It means you can join sections, and it seems like a lot of fun. There's definitely some things I need to work on and get familiar with and learn. But being such a heavy board, it's also kind of it's going to be a challenge to try and turn properly. And I guess that's where the tail rocker will come in, and get used to that and being able to use that as sort of a sort of a platform to be able to get back with my weight and really kind of flip the nose out of the water and disengage it from the water, so I can turn the board more maneuverably. And that's just a new board. I think it's the same thing every time I get a new board. I have to get into the water, time spent in the water, and just get used to it. And that's no different with this board at all. So all in all, I'm really pleased with this board. I mean, it's heavy, it's solid. I think it looks beautiful. So it's just a really cool style, and it'll probably be really well suited to some longboard waves, which is exactly what it's made for. Sort of, hip high, chest high, mushy waves. That's going to be what this board's suited for. An old school log that's suited for an old Malibu style kind of wave. So all in all, I gotta say I'm stoked for this board. So yeah. If anyone has any questions or comments about shaping and building your own board, I'd love to share some thoughts and insights with you. Be sure to hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you can follow along on my progression with this surfboard. Now it's time for me to see if I can get out of this wetsuit without getting injured. Ha ha!